past couple of days, there has been a lot of controversy regarding the release of Metroid Prime 4 and the fact that there are companions. Metroid doesn't have companions, the fanboys cry. Like, we agree Metroid is all about being isolated on an alien planet with no one around. Can we all agree with that? Right? Well, if you think that, you're wrong. Okay. This was very quickly pointed out by a lot of people in the community because, Metroid Prime Federation Force was entirely about the Federation Force troopers. It was hyping up the idea that these guys actively do things when Samus isn't around. You had the Prime 3 situation in which you have an entire Federation occupied planet and troopers and like other bounty hunters that you can talk to. Prime 2 as NPCs. A lot of people have brought up the fact that the whole narrative that Metroid games are all about being completely alone in a hostile environment is completely and utterly wrong. It has literally never been true. Even in the manual for the original Metroid, Samus is being sent there by the Galactic Federation. So the whole it's about isolation crap is nothing but a fan wank theory from people who don't really understand the brand. There is this big idea among the Metroid community that they understand Metroid better than the people who make it. And this has become very prevalent in recent years. But the thing I wanted to make this video about, the thing I wanted to emphasize is Metroid companions have been a thing for a very, very, very long time. Longer, I think, than most people realize. And today, I would like to go backwards through the series history and demonstrate Metroid's long history of having companion characters. Yes, we do have to address the elephant in the room. Metroid Prime Federation Force is not only a Metroid game, it is a Metroid game that features the Federation troopers. This excellent high-quality multiplayer spin-off from Next Level Games demonstrates the troopers and their capabilities in battling space pirates. It is, as a multiplayer game, by its nature, it demonstrates how other companion characters can team up with you and accomplish legitimate tasks. It is really fun, very exciting, and adds quite a lot to the lore. This game was unfortunately very, very much downplayed and ignored when it first came out, but thankfully, we are getting a direct sequel with Metroid Prime 4. Although Other M is a very polarizing Metroid title that a lot of people don't care for, it needs to be said that this is essentially Companion Characters, the game, in which Samus is receiving direct orders from her commander, Adam Malkovich, to assist the Federation during their operation on the battleship. You see a lot of these characters die. One of them is a traitor. A lot of them help you out throughout, and it just leads into this very interesting experience that really goes into Samus's relationship and dynamic with the people around her. This is, I think, a very clear example of not just one companion character, but several that really demonstrate that Samus is not alone in this universe. Being the last game of the original Metroid Prime trilogy, it's very interesting looking back at it and seeing just how many companions there are. There are, of course, the bounty hunters, but there are also the Aurora units and the General Galactic Federation troopers, a lot of which you do fight alongside throughout the game. This game really expanded the world and the setting of Metroid to really better encompass what exactly Samus is fighting for. She is doing everything she can to protect the Galactic Federation from evil. And to do so, she does so with her companions that fight alongside her and do their very best to undo the corruption that is plaguing the universe. Metroid Prime 2 is really interesting because a lot of the Federation Force troopers are dead before you ever touch down on Aether, but all of them are named, all of them have backgrounds, personalities, takes on the situations. All of them did their very best to survive, and unfortunately, you simply got there a little bit too late to help them. But there are other NPCs out there, the other Luminoth, who are helping to explain the situation and helping you resolve it by being your stalwart companions throughout this adventure. It is very interesting seeing just how the Federation was treated in this installment. Like, this is, I think, the first example of a lot of these characters being treated as actual people who actually had, like, really interesting, funny things happen to them and did everything they possibly could to survive, and in the end, succumbed to the evil of Dark Aether. And it is very cool every time I revisit the game and revisit their storylines. It is crazy how effective they are. Like, to this day, I think back on characters like Sergeant Angseth favorably. I just love these characters. Now, we all know the baby Metroid from Super Metroid, who's one of the most famous, iconic video game characters in the history of Nintendo. But a lot of people forget that this thing actually debuted in Metroid 2. And it is indeed a companion character. It does indeed follow you as you leave the planet after the final boss and beat the game, kind of establishing the trend of Metroid's long history with companion characters. The roots of Miles McKenzie can be found in this game. Like, this is the origin of it all, the beginning of Atom Infusion and the baby in Super Metroid. You know, the themes of motherhood expanded on in Metroid Other M. Like, everything that the series eventually became got their start here with Metroid 2. Companion characters are absolutely at the heart of the Metroid franchise. So there you have it. Without even trying, I completely debunked the entire narrative. The idea that Metroid is about loneliness and isolation is completely wrong. Okay, Samus was sent to Zebes to destroy the space pirates and destroy Mother Brain by the Galactic Federation, who have always existed. You know, at the end of Metroid 2, she destroyed the Metroids and found a companion in the baby, which developed into something that saved her at the end of Metroid 3 Super. And then in Fusion, she has Adam, who is providing her with insight, who is advising her on her adventure. And, you know, Adam, of course, would go on to be an established, beloved character in Metroid Other M, only to betray her in Metroid Dread, because secretly in that game, it was actually Ravenbeak. You know, Ravenbeak used Samus's own trust in her stalwart companion Adam against her. You know, like, companions are at the heart of the Metroid franchise. It's not about loneliness or isolation. You know, it's about Samus doing whatever needs to be done for the good of the galaxy, you know, the other people in the galaxy. So, again, I don't want to hear your copes. You know, anybody who's crying about companion characters in Metroid, don't play them. Like, there are too many iconic companion characters in this franchise to take any of these people seriously. Like, you guys need to grow up and maybe play some video games. And by the way, you certainly don't hear people are trying to, like, backpedal and try and say that, like, well, we just don't like the tone and the millennial writing. Like, I didn't hear anyone complain about this in God of War Ragnarok. Okay, you know, which was infinitely more cringy. You know, where's your stupid Disney squirrel that lives in the World Tree? Like, we don't have an equivalent of that, because Metroid isn't cringe. Prime 4 looks amazing. I'm very excited about learning about all these different characters and seeing how they developed and what they do for you. Like, all of this bitching from Muppets like Arlo and uh, grown shills like Mr. Medicare, like, all of you can just fuck right off.